Hello, everyone. Peepz here. Quick recap before we start our league on Friday. Let's look at a couple of the things that we're changing, give you a quick rundown to catch you up, and then get you on your way so you can have the best league start of the year. All right, so our crafting mechanic this league, or our mechanic this league revolves around rune crafting. Starting in Act 1, we're going to come across interactable consoles. These consoles are going to let us craft runes. We'll start with basic runes such as damage and resistance, as well as a couple of new specific runes that are really good early game. We got things like, 20% all res or a plus 50 spirit available to us, very early in the game. These will be very impactful early. They'll fall off as we continue, but it'll be a nice increase to that early game, especially if you're trying to run something like minions, summoning skellies. It's really helpful. Act 1, Act 2, and 50 spirit for free is a nice buff there. So as we progress through our rune crafting and through our campaign, we'll come across various of these consoles. There'll be 2-link consoles all the way up to 7-link consoles, and then the number of symbols that we put into the console will determine how hard the encounter is. So 2-link will be fairly easy. A 7-link is going to be hard. But the more links you're running, the higher the rune that you're going to craft. So the more power you're going to get, the more reward you'll get for doing that higher level content. They showed a couple of specific gems or a couple of new runes. They'll be on the screen as we keep going. But the one that I wanted to talk about was there's a legendary rune that we can craft, and it will let us take a unique item that's either Azimite or Kalgoran in origin and strip off that unique effect and apply it to another item. So in the example they gave us, they took a unique pair of boots, they stripped off its unique affix, and then they applied it to a regular white set of boots, and you get, a unique power on these white boots that you can then craft to actually match your build. So it's going to open up some interesting build opportunities there. There was definitely some boots that had neat or useful effects on them, and being able to strip that effect off and just put it on, an actual useful in-game piece of gear, it's going to be a nice change. The next thing they were adding is the Runic Ward. So we'll start getting Runic Ward in the early game. Act 1 is the first chance we get at it. And Runic Ward's just an additional health pool or an additional mana pool. They are adding Kalgurin skills and support gems that will take Runic Ward to cast. There's 22 in total for the skills that they're adding. So there's some possible combinations there. The barbarian one looked really good, where you turn everything into ice instead of the fissures of fire; they become fissures of ice. And breaking ice crystals releases more frost buildup in big areas. It looked pretty neat. um, Additionally, this league we're getting our first challenge league. This league will be our first challenge league. You complete the league, you get the Knight of Outdoor armor set as well as a statue for your hideout. The statue was pretty large from the screenshot they showed of it. Um, during gameplay, pressing H on your keyboard. Sorry, controller players, I don't know what button that's going to be for you, but H on your keyboard will bring up your progress bar for the league. There's eight levels in total. And they ramp up pretty significantly with some of the later one of the later ones being complete the fourth ascension to have all 8 ascendancy points. So it's definitely going to be challenging for some builds or some people that just don't enjoy the Chaos Temple or Trials of Sekhmet, but not undoable by any means. Um, They're also adding in campaign guide, essentially. So early in the game, when you're in the first zone, if you find the river, you follow the river in Grailwood, it will lead you to the Red Veil. The same thing when you get to hunting grounds. There's a signpost now that tells you where Ogum Village is. The ritual site will lead you to the next area to complete that ritual boss. Um, and then the Bloody Crow Bell actually has like blood trails that lead to him now. Um, those were some of the ones they mentioned. There's also a bunch of stuff in Act 3. The the dual boss in Act 2, uh, the name of the map right outside of the hub in Act 2 eludes me, but that big map, big desert map, now if you follow the dry riverbed, it will actually lead you to that dual boss fight. Um, there's also all the fissures will lead you to the Well of Souls area, the Lightless Passage. So be on the lookout for new map things to show you kind of where to go and help you get through that campaign into end game as fast as possible. Um, Speaking of the end game, full rework. In case you missed it, the end game Atlas trees all got reworked. Um, your main Atlas tree, you can now get every point on it, and then several of the points have 3 link off of them. So you'll select one point and then you can upgrade it. One of the 3 options. But the big thing is you'll now be able to get the entire Atlas tree. Um, and to kind of help you with that, there's a couple of ways to rapidly get your points. So all their points are going to be earned via the fortress. So the fortress where you'll fight the Arbiter of Justice, and that's broken. It's walled off into sectioned off zones. So if you start in a zone and you go right to the next gate, when you cross that gate, it'll actually complete to the area you just left and give you those points. The other method will be actually killing the Arbiter of Justice 4 times. So you'll get one for free via campaign, not campaign, the quest line, because I have a quest line associated with him. And then every time after that, you find your citadels, looking for our red, blue, or white pillars of light sticking up out of the fog. We clear the citadels, bring the currency back, run them again, and then every time you complete him, he will complete large sections of the fortress for you, and just give you 15, 20 ascendancy points or 15, 20 Atlas points at a time. So there's definitely a speed run way to do him. That beating him 4 times is probably not going to be easy. The campaign one will probably be pretty good, but I imagine you'll need a fairly solid build to be able to rely on killing him 4 times to complete your Atlas tree. Um, Next one we're going to look at is Expedition. So Expedition is now going to be an island hopping excursion. You'll start when you start maps, if you head south, you'll find the coastline. There's a hub down there called the Ruins of King's March. And then you go to the hub, interact with the expedition main guy, and he'll send your boat out and it'll explore parts of the ocean. You'll find new islands, island hop your way across, earning your skill points for that specific mechanic, as well as there's hidden vaults also out there that deal with the Calgorian stuff. That's a part of this league. They've been kind of hush hush about those. They haven't really showed us any good footage or given us kind of any information that's useful. They're letting us figure this one out. That's what it seems like. So as you complete it and you island hop, just make sure you're like looking around, look for these fortresses or these big caves, Calgarian caves that can be broken into, and you know complete the mini dungeon there, get unique league specific rewards. Um, then for Abyss, Ritual, Delirium, and Breach, these will now have a quest line associated with them. So we'll start our mapping experience, and it'll pop up, go here, go there, go there, go there, whatever it is. Each one of the end game loops have their own quest line. So you follow the quest line to completion. You get your first kill on that pinnacle boss, on a campaign version of the pinnacle boss the first time. You get you get your atlas points for that specific mechanic, and then it'll spawn a new mechanic. It'll spawn a new zone for that mechanic somewhere else. These are noted on the map. The map's actually going to change to reflect what type of content you're doing in that area. So if you're running Abyss, the whole map's going to have from your actual map console, that whole area is going to be like covered in these giant abyss fractures. If you're running Ritual, it'll be like big trees and some other indicators. Then Breach has its own look on the tree, so just keep an eye out for these. Then the next thing for our end games, we have the Masters of the Atlas. So we'll now have 4 Atlas Masters, and each one of those has 12 nodes we can choose from, and then they're changeable at any time. You can have up to 4 active at any one time. And the way it works, it's 4 lines of 3, and then you can have one thing from each line active. And you progress those, they have their own like quest line stuff. They'll give you things to do that you do while you're mapping. And then the last big change is the Vaal Temple. It's now a core mechanic. You'll start Vaal Temple charge beacons will start appearing in Act 3, and then in the end game, the charge beacons will be kind of your map tier specific. So if you're running a tier 1 map, your Vaal ruins isn't going to be very good. But if you're running a tier 15 map, it'll be a tier 15 equivalent Vaal ruins. So not quite the crazy level we were at last league where I was scaling the player level. It's much more in line with the rest of content these days. But that is the big updates. Looking forward to starting this league. Look forward to seeing you all in the league. Hope you have a great start. Drop a comment below and let me know what you're playing. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you found this helpful, and have a good day.